Hey everybody, welcome back to Sweatpants BI. It's me, Sean, here. Today, I don't have any demos for you. I don't have any tutorials for you because I'll be honest, I'm pretty exhausted. My wife and I just adopted a second cat, and for the past several days, our previous cat and our new cat have been kind of learning how to cohabitate together and have been kind enough to give me pretty consistent 5 a.m. wake up calls, either with them wrestling on our bedroom floor or sometimes wrestling in the bed on top of me. They're getting along great, but I'm not getting the most restful sleep that I've ever had. So today I wanted to just go ahead and record a video that I've been kind of, planning for several weeks, kind of along people who keep coming to me asking, Sean, I really want to elevate the design of my Power BI tools, but could you give me a sense of where I should start? Like where should I focus my learnings? How do I how do I get my fundamentals down so that I can build myself up to designing, much more aesthetically attractive and engaging tools, similar to what I see you maybe putting on, entering in Maven challenges or enterprise DNA challenges, or just maybe posting on LinkedIn. So today I wanted to introduce a concept that I've been kind of thinking on and working on for the past several weeks. That I call the Sweatpants BI hierarchy of amazing BI tool design, not just Power BI tool design. I actually think that the hierarchy that I'm going to walk you through can be applied to almost any BI tool that you're using. You can see it over here. There are just 6 steps to this hierarchy, but these are basically 6 steps that I know that I go through in the developing of all of my BI tools. And I think they kind of, set you up for developing a really solid foundation on which to build really impressive Power BI tools. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet today. Let's go ahead and jump over to the hierarchy so that I can tell you where you should begin in your journey to develop more aesthetic and stylish BI tools, and kind of walk you through the steps that I think you should take in your learning journey. So obviously, the first place that you're going to want to start, and that is literally the foundation of this pyramid, of this hierarchy that I'm going to be walking you through, is really refining and making sure that your data representation skills are on point. At the end of the day, we're not here to make art just for like artistic purposes. Obviously, I think that it's important to be able to get to a point where your tools are very clean, where they're aesthetically inviting, and at least the visual representation of your tools makes anyone who is looking at your tool eager to dive in. But all of that is for nothing if your data representation is lackluster. I mean, the absolute most important part of any BI tool that you design should be focused on making sure that you're presenting the data for that Power BI or Tableau report accurately, that you're presenting it simply, and that you're presenting it clearly, and of course that your data visualization fundamentals are solid, that you're using bar charts and line charts where appropriate, scatter plots if it's the best way to represent a specific measure or family of measures. If you are missing the fundamentals of data representation, it really doesn't matter if your BI tool looks amazing. It's not very likely to contain very useful or actionable information that's going to drive the right kinds of decisions at your business. At the end of the day, all of us who work in data science or in business intelligence or in just broadly speaking analytics, we're being trusted and tasked by our company to take data and present it in a manner that is both accurate and can hopefully, drive the sorts of strategic decision making that maybe other areas of the company aren't comfortable making on their own. We're very much a service industry within any kind of business, and our service is providing data and making it accessible and engaging by figuring out the questions that need to be answered and the ways that presenting it that are going to be easiest for our users to understand. Beyond that, I think that the next part in the hierarchy of amazing BI tool design is for us to learn how to focus on storytelling. And so storytelling is an extension of data representation. Effectively, what we're doing here is we're taking the data that we have And we're figuring out how to, really relate it back to the business that is generating that data. So if we're building like a sales BI tool, we're able to, use different storytelling elements. We're talking, like setting the stage, hooking a user into the main story, and then ultimately prescribing or recommending some course of action. So maybe the focus of our story on a sales report could be, hey, these are the targets that we set for our sales team. They're either ahead of or behind the goal that our sales team had set for the year. And based on the underlying data, this is why we think that we're ahead of or behind our sales measures. Maybe these are some areas of the business that are overperforming or underperforming. Maybe we need to investigate, specific salespeople and see if there's ways that we can motivate the sales team, or maybe we need to change up one of our products. Maybe we need to increase the price of a product in order to hit our sales goals. Storytelling is not just like throwing bar charts and line charts onto a page and hoping for the best. Storytelling is taking what the data is showing and making it more relatable by pinpointing, things within the business that are a broader audience within our company is likely to understand, and hopefully they can use the sorts of data insights that we're coming up with in the story that we're telling to sort of figure out, what the best possible course of action might be. The next element in the hierarchy is I would focus on clarity and readability. So, when I first started building BI tools, obviously I started with data representation, making sure that I was building the most effective data visuals possible. After that, as I got more comfortable with, sort of the more technical elements of building BI tools, I was able to focus more on different storytelling elements. But as I focused on the first two levels in this hierarchy, I discovered that a lot of the tools that I was making were just increasingly complex. And I had people in very good nature tell me that consuming some of my BI tools was kind of like reading a small novel. Or that they were complaining that it just took them so long to find the morsels of information that were most important to them. So, I think that the next stage in my own BI maturity journey was learning how to just ruthlessly edit unnecessary visuals or redundant text, making sure that I'm keeping everything as on message as possible, making sure that I'm not, getting too carried away with different colors that I'm using, or that I'm if I am using blocks of text to sort of describe or highlight something that I'm seeing in the data, that I'm keeping that text as brief as possible and getting right to the point. At the end of the day, if I have executives who are consuming my tool, they're going to get frustrated if it takes them very, very long to find what they're interested in. And even my power users, want to be able to find the information that is most meaningful to them as quickly as possible. We don't want people in our company having to spend unnecessary mental energy, just remembering where something that they thought was cool is the next time that they visit that tool. So I would say that focusing on clarity and readability is the next, really vital step in designing amazing BI tools. So that when somebody's looking at, a BI tool that you design, it may be just absolutely overflowing with useful information, but it feels like everything that's there is deliberate and easy to navigate. After that, we can start kind of getting into some of the more aesthetic or stylized elements of BI tool design. And now I will say that, for me, aesthetics and style are not, one for one. They're not the same thing. Aesthetics is the concept of making a report look clean and pleasing to the eye by applying things like gestalt techniques, making sure that all of your visuals are evenly spaced out, that there's room to breathe, that there's not a whole lot of just empty white space in your reports, that you're not using, garish colors. The concept of aesthetics here is just designing BI tools that look very clean, that look, like everything is there for a purpose and a reason. that everything is very easy to read and navigate. Basically, you're nailing down aesthetics when your users aren't even thinking about aesthetics. In other words, when your users open your Power BI tool, they're not even cognizant of the color choices that you made. They're not, pointing out things like misspellings. They're not pointing out things like, oh, these visuals are, really packed in so close to each other that your report looks kind of overcrowded. Aesthetics is sort of the art of making sure that your users aren't even noticing how your report looks. There's just a general pleasing presentation that invites them to ignore the style entirely and just get right into consuming the data. For me, that's what aesthetics are. And honestly, if you're just starting to build Power BI tools, start by just learning how to make everything look clean and how to sort of make that nice harmony across your Power BI tools. Once you nail down the aesthetics, then you can start to get into some other sort of design concepts, such as, maybe changing up the sorts of visualizations that you're using. Now, I want to say that if bar charts are the most effective visual 99% of the time, then maybe it's okay for 99% of your reports to be bar charts. But as you get more comfortable with data representation and storytelling and just the general presentation of your reports, then maybe you want to start playing a little bit more with some of the other visuals that Power BI offers. Maybe you want to start experimenting a little bit with third-party data visualizations from the Power BI marketplace. Even though, as I said, if bar charts are the most effective representation of the data, that's a perfectly valid place to start 99% of the time. But, I would advocate or propose that having a nice diversity of data visuals in your report can give your users just an additional reason to sort of, poke around your report. It kind of resets their brain or their cognitive load as they are going through your report. Instead of just going through the motions, they are occasionally sort of, pausing and asking themselves whatever question they're trying to answer, from scratch, and resetting their minds by introducing new visuals on occasion can just make your Power BI tools look a little bit more dynamic and help them approach their problems maybe from different perspectives. And then the last item in my hierarchy of amazing BI tool design, I would call thematics. And these are the sorts of elements that you see across all kinds of the Power BI challenges that are happening. And maybe you deal a little bit with thematics in your actual team or at your company. Thematic elements just kind of breathe life into your story. If you participated in the Maven Analytics Pizza Challenge, maybe you had like a little icon with a box of pizza. Maybe you had an icon that was a slice of pizza. I'm sure that most of the people that were entering that challenge had, some representation of a pizza because it was a competition about pizza. Those are thematic elements. Obviously, having an icon of a pizza slice doesn't really tell us anything about how that specific, I believe, Italian restaurant was doing. Just like if you participated in the recent Maven World Cup Challenge, I would imagine that 99, if not 100% of the entries in that competition had a soccer ball icon or a picture of a soccer ball or maybe a mugshot of Lionel Messi somewhere on the report. Doesn't really serve any purpose with representing the data whatsoever. It just kind of invites the user in so that they understand right away, hey, I'm looking at a soccer report or football report for those of you who are otherwise inclined. And football is the correct answer, of course, but I digress. I live in Kentucky. We say soccer even by default. But these thematic elements, again, they don't really serve your data. They just kind of are an artistic flourish that you bring to your reports so that the user kind of immediately understands the flavor of the particular data set that they're consuming or the different Power BI tools that you're presenting them. If you're in a financial role where you're building financial Power BI tools for your company, maybe you're using iconography of piggy banks or dollars or pounds, or any number of other icons to sort of, group different visuals together. If you're telling, a story around like a income statement, maybe you've got different icons sort of representing the different expenses or exchanges of money that happen, across an income statement at a business. And these are just examples of different thematic elements that you can use that you don't want to get too carried away with. They're just sort of there sometimes they serve as bullets within the report, kind of walking your users through the different elements within your report, or they're just kind of there to sort of set the stage. My only suggestion is, because I still see a lot of newer Power BI users doing this, for the love of whatever God you worship, please don't put background images that are gigantic and insert those into the background of your Power BI reports. By the time you cover up those images with a bunch of awesome data visuals, it's really hard to even tell what the background image is. If nobody can tell what your background image is, or if they have to squint or try to figure it out, then that background image is serving no purpose whatsoever. And chances are it's making your really amazing data visualization work kind of bleed into the background or get muddied by this, really loud and obnoxious background image that you have. If Sweatpants BI accomplishes nothing in however long I choose to keep doing these YouTube videos, I hope that it gets people to stop using gigantic background images in the background of their wonderful Power BI reports that just kind of ruin everything. So there is an art, obviously, to thematic elements. That's why this is the top of the pyramid. It's kind of the least important thing, but it can also kind of make or break the overall style and look of your report. So that is the Sweatpants Power BI hierarchy of amazing BI tool design. The other thing that I kind of wanted to point out about this hierarchy as I was working on it and kind of thinking about it is that in a lot of ways, this is also a hierarchy of learning BI tool design in general. Again, you want to start with data representation and data storytelling. Those are easily the two most fundamental and important aspects of the job that we do. After that, you really want to focus on making sure that you're representing all of that information in as clear, concise, and aesthetically pleasing or as simple a manner as possible, so that anyone who's consuming your Power BI tools is able to sort of get the point quickly. Then beyond that, at the very top of the pyramid here, we start to have some of the more just strictly, kind of artistic and I guess more classically design-oriented elements of BI tool design, and that's thematic elements and enhancing the diversity of the data visualizations that you're using. I would argue that the top two are less important than anything else in the pyramid, but they are kind of I guess a special sauce, if you will. It's probably an area where I would say that with a lot of practice, I've come to sort of shine in my own Power BI work, so that if you are the kind of person that's looking at my Power BI designs for some of the different Power BI challenges that I've entered recently, obviously you're going to see a lot of thematic elements and you're going to see a diversity of visuals. I'm not saying that the way that I carry out these top two aspects in the pyramid are perfect by any means. They just kind of work for me and they seem to get the attention of people. But it also took me a long time to sort of nail down my style on these two elements. It didn't, obviously I didn't, get as comfortable with some of the, Power BI designs that I deliver just right out of the gate. It took a lot of practice and a lot of time kind of getting comfortable with what users like and what they don't like, what they find useful and what they find distracting, in order to come up with a style that is uniquely Sean, as opposed to a style that is uniquely yours, random YouTube viewer. So I hope that you found that useful. I hope that that gave you plenty of stuff to think about in how you approach designing Power BI reports, regardless of where you are in your Power BI learning journey. If you've been building Power BI reports for years and maybe you have a team of Power BI developers under you who are just kind of learning style and aesthetics, and maybe they don't know, where to start or how to continue their journey. Maybe that hierarchy is useful for you, and sort of helping them identify where they are on their BI report design journey, to sort of lay out the rest of the roadmap on things that they can maybe start to look into or improve upon. And of course, if you're just starting your Power BI journey, I hope that your takeaway from this hierarchy is that you really just need to focus on nailing down the fundamentals first. Learn which data visuals are most important, across the spectrum of data visualization. When should you bust out bar charts? When should you bust out line charts? When should you, pull out a pie chart? The answer is never, almost never. Focus on just nailing the fundamentals of presenting data clearly before you start getting into some of the other more stylized elements that you're going to see in a lot of the stuff that I build. So again, thank you so much for checking out this Sweatpants BI video. For me, we're just a couple of days away from New Year's. I'm going to try to catch up on some rest with the remainder of this week. Hope you have a wonderful start to your new year, if it's a new year for you. If you're somewhere overseas where your new year is maybe still a couple of months away, then I hope that when you get there, you have a happy new year. But I hope that everybody watching this channel has a wonderful 2023, since this will probably be the last time that I get to see you. So thanks so much. Can't wait to see you next time on Sweatpants BI.